So, New York City law enforcement officials, led by embattled Mayor Eric Adams, recently claimed that Operation Padlock to Protect has shut down over 1,200 illegal cannabis shops and seized over $82 million in illegal product. In an effort to publicize the initiative's success and make an argument that taxpayer dollars spent on the crackdown were not being squandered, Adams held a strange press conference at a local landfill last month to really show the trap who they were fucking with, where he and other officials incinerated what officers claimed to be millions of unlicensed cannabis products live on social media. Well, it's looking like that photo op on Trash Island is going down in the history books as Mayor Adams' very own George W. Bush 2003 mission accomplished speech moment. Because yesterday, according to ABC Eyewitness News 7, a Queens judge ruled that the law to be that law is indeed unconstitutional because it denies shop owners their rights to due process, a conclusion predicted from the jump by civil rights activists to eventually be OPP's undoing. Queens Judge Kevin J. Kerrigan ruled on Tuesday that the New York state law behind Operation Padlock to Protect and allowing NYC shops to shut down suspected illegal cannabis shops was a direct violation of store owners' due process rights, ordering an end to the program immediately. The law empowered the NYC Sheriff's Office to padlock these stores after raids, even if administrative courts like the Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, or OATH by acronym, recommended reopening them. The ruling criticized the sheriff's ability to ignore oath findings and keep stores closed for up to a year, calling it arbitrary and capricious and harmful to due process. The decision could have far-reaching implications, potentially allowing affected store owners to sue the city for lots and lots of damages. Per the article, the store at the heart of Kerrigan's ruling, Cloud Corner, admitted to containing cannabis, but successfully argued at their oath hearing, and now in Queens Supreme Court, that the sheriff's raid was conducted outside of business hours, and therefore the inspection could not have concluded that pot was being offered for sale. That's excellent. Oath dismissed both the summons and the order shuttering the store, but the sheriff issued a final decision that the shop should be closed for up to a year, citing its listed hours of operations on Google Maps and claiming that they discovered dozens of pounds of illicit cannabis product. The shop's attorney argued that his client's shop's rights were violated after a raid conducted outside of business hours led to its prolonged closure, and that information for the raids had been automatically generated and inaccurate. Judge Kerrigan agreed and concluded by writing that the sheriff had failed to find or prove that the shop was actively selling cannabis in any capacity. The sheriff's order for the store to remain shuttered could only be characterized as arbitrary and capricious if the final arbiter has the authority to confer no weight to the hearing. There is no meaningful opportunity to be heard, reads the decision, which vastly increases the risk of erroneous deprivation and raises a due process concern. While city officials are appealing the decision, this ruling contradicts a prior federal court ruling that upheld the statute's constitutionality. So I don't know, but what we do know is that the trap remains undefeated. I'm Rico Lamitte, the Double Down on Street 4 High at 9 News. Let's hear it, y'all.
This is funny. This is funny. The administrative process, and Omar, I'm interested in your experience of this, warrants for administrative law and the process is very much truncated. And it sounds like somebody decided we're going to follow the rules here about when you can go out there and do this. And they just punched him right back in the face, which I think is comical. Is the cops hate to lose. They really do not like to lose. So they'll be coming back doing something here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, they conducted a very sloppy investigation. All they had to do is send in undercovers during business hours, make the purchases, do it the right way, and they would have won. But they are doing dragnet style, it seems like they're doing automated targeting of some sort and coming in after business hours. And just because somebody's got a stash of weed doesn't mean they're selling it. Just like some people at home, they have cases of beer. Does that turn them into a liquor distributor? Of course not. You know, some people end up stockpiling product for whatever reason. Maybe they're not allowed to have it at home, so they stash it at work. Maybe it's a bunch of workers who like to party after hours. Who knows? But there's right ways to conduct investigations and shut somebody down for that length of time. And the way they did it in this case seems kind of sketchy to me, and just shows sloppy police work leads to shitty results for the police. Surprise, surprise.
Somebody at the sheriff's department was using AI or Chat GPT to determine which shops to go after and when.
Yeah, but it turns out to be hearsay. And when you go in to do an investigation, it's all based upon things you heard, not things that you went in with your own investigators and can document. That's where they're on a slippery slope. And my experience with the cops is they like to just do things as they've already done them. They don't like anybody to put a roadblock in front of them. They get kind of pissed off about it. But there are rules out there for a reason. And you have property rights. You have due process rights. When they come in cowboy style and say, we're going to shut you down because we found some weed in your place, and the judge says, well, now you're going to have to prove it. And they go, ba-dee, ba-da, ba-da, you know. It doesn't work that way. And I think they should have their ass kicked.
Mm-hmm. And props to the lawyers who caught the cops, you know, which shows once again that the true guardians of the Constitution are, in many times, the non-government lawyers who call out the government's actions.
Mm-hmm. Never cop a plea because the cops probably fucked up on their side on the process, and you can most likely get out of it.
Oh boy, man. You know, this story. Man, you know, it says,
are all these smoke shops going to open right back up?
Well, you know, that's
you're all going to hire that same lawyer. I can guarantee you that.
And find his cards outside the jail.
Yeah, I guess Kerrigan wrote in there that the sequence of events culminated in a, quote, clear violation of due process under the law, under the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment for Cloud Corner, despite the fact that an employee of the business openly admitted that the store was selling cannabis without a permit during its regular business hours, which were from 1 p.m. to midnight daily.
When did they, what time did
they say to me?
What time was the raid done?
It doesn't say necessarily when the raid was done, but it also said, oh wait, hold on. Here, agents with Operation Padlock entered the store at roughly 12:30 p.m. before the business was technically open, Kerrigan wrote in his ruling, and they also unplugged security cameras that would have verified that the shop was closed at the time of the raid. That meant the summons used by Miranda to justify the 1-year closure of the shop was void, Kerrigan wrote in his ruling.
You know what? My old football coach used to tell me, man, those guys across the field that you're playing against, they on scholarship too.
And here's interesting. In a quote, the court acknowledged that the unlicensed sale of cannabis within the city of New York represents an enormous public health concern, Kerrigan wrote, and this decision should not be interpreted to condone such unlicensed activity. However, summarily shuttering a business for a year, despite the fact it was exonerated from allegations of illegal activity, stands against the cornerstone of American democracy and procedural due process, the judge said. What do you think about that, Omar?
I think that's a great ruling. The judge is basically enforcing the law and making sure that the cops also follow the law. And all they got to do, I mean, for them, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. All they got to do is send in undercover cops, make a couple purchases, you know, and then they can proceed any which way they want, either civilly, administratively, criminally, any which way they want. And so the fact that they're just kind of doing this dragnet investigations really shows that, you know, the police ought to do some old-fashioned police work instead of relying on automated targeting.
You know, I wonder if this is going to have any effect on the story that we covered, that Rico covered on Monday and we covered on Friday about the $9.5 million judgment that New York got against that other gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is going to try to appeal whatever action has been taken against them. I
think after this, they're going to have a legal basis to do so, though, wouldn't they, Omar?
Depends on the facts of the case. You know, if the cops have been as sloppy in every investigation as they have been in this case, then they got lots of problems. But if this is an outlier, maybe it's just going to be a rare exception.
I don't really think it's an outlier. An additional quote in another article says illegal smoke shops and their dangerous products endanger young New Yorkers and our quality of life. And we continue to padlock illicit storefronts and protect communities from the health and safety dangers posed by illegal operators, the spokesman wrote. To date, though, Operation Padlock to protect, we have shut down over 1,200 illegal shops and seized over $82 million in illegal products that for too long have put people at risk, they say.
Yeah, protect the tax funds. I mean, the kids.
They've illegally seized those illegal products from those illegal shops.
Exactly. And then they illegally destroyed them at a press conference. That's all well documented.
Them for lost product.
It says Mayor Adams, the city council, and sheriff have violated the due process rights of every store owner that has been shut down by the New York Sheriff's Office, Lazaro wrote in an email. Wow. And
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Class action civil rights lawsuit.
Yeah, and Lazaro is the attorney that represents Cloud Corner, so he's the one that's saying that this affects every single smoke shop because they violated all of their due process rights, all 1,200 of them. Omar.
Yeah, that sounds like lots of litigation for this attorney.
Man, there might be
him having a personal interest in all this coverage.
Mm-hmm. And Laszlo,
it's good to see the due process laws being brought to bear here, and also there's a prohibition against excessive fines, and I think that's the next one to be knocked off because they fine the shit out of people for things like, oh, you're going to kill our children. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck you. No, we're not. That's nonsense.
Yeah, the other guy, George.
I never got tested weed when I was growing up. We never had tested weed.
Yeah, the other guy, George, he got a judgment for $9.5 million, and the attorney Laszlo, he also says the city of New York should be ashamed for allowing this process to happen in the first place. How would Mayor Adams feel if due process rights were violated in his pending criminal matter? Oh boy! Shots fired, you guys. Shots fired.
Do we think the police and the mayor's office are going to regret dropping that $82 million number in there because they're going to be liable for all that, right? They're going to owe some shop owners $82 million worth of something.
Yeah, man. Pain and suffering and emotional distress.
They'll be lucky if they get tax credits.
Libel, slander, like everything that's happened to them. They've been called criminals. Like, yo, you guys are the criminals, and they have every right to say that the cops are criminals right at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, man. Looks like
I had a call from the kids' school, but Jason, did they say that they were at the dump, the garbage dump, where they were taking all this illicit product?
I don't understand what you're asking, Jenny.
That's where the press conference was, I think.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay,
yeah.
So were they disposing of the product there? Is that
yeah. They did a whole grandstanding thing. We covered that story when he did that. Mayor Adams.
Did they leave the cameras rolling long enough to see all the people scrambling to get the product out before they?
No, they had like this big incinerator thing and like the big old crunchy thing, and you know what I mean.
Oh, so they got all of New York High. That's amazing.
I don't think they got all of New York High.
Bonfire with Oreos and milk. Right?
It didn't look like it was a scene out of the movie Homegrown. I'll say that much.
All right. Wow.
It looked like you remember those big old trash pile heaps in Fraggle Rock. That's what it kind of looked like behind him.
Fraggle Rock was great.
Mm-hmm.
Fraggle Rock was really political. I won't go into that.
Oh boy, yeah. Let's not go on that. We're going to go into our first commercial, and we're going to be right back.